edition of Bunker Office Hours, a weekly live show brought to you by team at Bunker Labs, a national network of veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs committed to helping our community start and grow their own businesses. I'm joined by my co-host today, Amy Warrington, and our special guest, the one and only Smoking Panda, Joey Mackey. What's going on, Joey?
What's up, my brother? Thank you for having us again, dude. I love these chats, man. We're looking to just share knowledge and spread to our veteran community. Let's go.
So Joey and our entrepreneurial peers, we go way. I think we go back to what, like 2016. You were in the Ironbound Boxing Academy helping me set mats up and cleaning the
Yeah,
gym.
yeah, probably 20. Yeah, probably around the 2016, 2017 range.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so he's my peer. We chop it up all the time. We've been through a pandemic together. That's why you see us so, jovial. But we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna be talking about some sales, particularly the difference between sales and actually closing, putting money in the bank account. Before we do that, I got to pass it over to Amy to share some updates for you all.
Thanks, Mike. So this week, we want to remind you that we have your 2023 conference and pitch competition guide on the blog. We've got veteran and startup focused conferences and pitch competitions. That is bunkerlabs.org/blog, and I think it's one of the top posts. And then also on the blog and related to today's topic, you can read more about our guest, Joey Mackey-Zahn, on the blog at bunkerlabs.org/mobile-cigar-lounge. And then we did a little video narrative on him. And then still going on, wrapping it up this month, I think, the United Miles on a Mission campaign is still going on so you can donate your miles if you are a United Flyer member. And that helps us bring our ambassadors to their fly-ins and get training and stuff. So that is basically what's going on this week.
Well, also, we have the Military Veteran Startup Conference taking place in San Francisco with Bunker Labs Ambassador Tim Shea and Context Ventures. Really excited about that. I'll be there, as well as so many other people from our community. Like, it's great to jump on these Zoom calls and podcasts, but there's nothing like getting together in person. I got to hang out with Joey in Vegas for the Military Influencer Conference, which was awesome. So if you can make it, be sure to sign up, and hope to see you all in San Francisco if you're there. But either way, we're going to bring a lot of stuff back. So I'm excited to share that with the community. But without further ado, the Smoking Panda, Joey, please introduce yourself to our viewers who may or may not be familiar with you.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you, Mike. Hello, everyone. My name is Joey Mack, a.k.a. the Smoking Panda, and I'm the Chief Smoking Officer for the Mobile Cigar Lounge. We are located in Hopatcong, New Jersey, but what we do is we bring the cigar experience to weddings and private parties nationally. So you can find us, we'll talk about at the end, but Mike, let's get into it, bro. Let's talk about selling and closing, brother.
Before we do that, I got to give Joey his flowers, all right? Because here's why. It's hard enough running a business, right? Managing a team, having a newborn baby, right? And on top of that, to still make time for the community. And you show up, you go to ambassador fly-ins, you do your I forgot what we call it, the weekly check-ins with ambassadors. And I've heard nothing but positive things about you from people that have been in the VAR and stuff, et cetera. So I just want to give you your flowers on behalf of Bunker and the veteran entrepreneurial community for making time while still being in the entrepreneurial hustle yourself.
Hell yeah, bro. I appreciate it, man. And dude, that's just my vision, and that's my goals, to help people, and not only just my company and team, but also entrepreneurs as well, veterans and those connected.
So let's talk about sales, Joey. In my book, Black Veteran Entrepreneur, I dedicated a whole chapter on the importance of sales, right? It's something that, like, you can sit in your little co-working space and plan your ideas out and do your little meetings, but until you start putting money in the bank account, it's not real. And I feel like a lot of veterans hide from that, and entrepreneurs also hide from it, because it's almost like they don't want to find out that their baby is ugly.
Yeah, and I get you, man. But that's the most important thing. Sales is going to drive whether you make it or break it or not, right? Sales is going to be what's the number right now? 90% of businesses fail within their first year.
Yep.
97% of those businesses fail within 10 years, right?
Yep.
Well, where do we have to look at? It all goes back to sales, right?
Yeah.
What's that transaction? And sales is not selling. Sales is closing, right? Where's that exchange of, hey, I'm giving you this amount of money and value, in return, I'm getting this product and service. If that doesn't happen, guess what? Your company is going to go right down. And I think that's something that every entrepreneur should look at is what is your sales process? What does it look like? And do you actually have a process in place that your team or you yourself are following, right? We shouldn't be, I don't think a sales process should be, hey, let's throw it into the wind. A sales process is predictable. You're able to predict the sales right then and there. What's going to happen when I'm selling? What's going to happen in that process and at that exchange? What's going to happen and the follow up right after it? Sorry, that was
But
a lot.
Joey, I just want to post on social media. I got this great product. Everybody tells me it's awesome. I post on my Instagram. I've been posting on LinkedIn, but I'm not making any sales. What should I do?
Hey man, you should be. So there's a lot of things, right? That's like a lot. You know what I love is what happens is there's an idea, and it goes to market, and then it goes to leads, and then it goes into sales. Right? So if your idea is good, but not just to you, sometimes you're marketing it out, but you're not speaking to your client. And Mike, that's something we got to talk about too, bro. Are you actually speaking to your ideal client? Right? I think a lot of big mistakes that entrepreneurs make, they cast this huge net and think they could get everyone to buy their products and services. For me, I like to be very niche. I'm like, hey, I don't want to waste my time with anyone else. This is a particular person. This is what they do. This is what they ask for. This is what they want. I want to talk directly to them. Now, if I'm not getting any sales, are you actually reaching out to these sales? Are you actually doing a one-on-one? Are you booking these leads? Like, where are they going? If you're getting 100 leads a day, but you're not doing anything with it, you might as well just drop it and everything just falls to the ground, right? So if you're marketing and people are turning into leads, that should turn into sales. Sales turns to revenue, and that's the circle of the business. And that's something that I've learned from one of my business coaches, Mr. Grant Cardone, is that's the business cycle.
What I try to tell people is marketing is sales at scale, right? If you're doing a bunch of marketing activities that are just vanity metrics, right? And it's not closing, right? Then you got a problem there.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right on that. And one of the things I tell people is you have to talk to people. It's not enough to just post your little CPG product on Instagram. You got to actually DM someone. You know,
yeah.
Hey, did you see this? Here's the purchase link. You know, I didn't make any mistakes like that when I launched my book. I went straight to people because people will see the stuff, but to actually get them across the line, you actually need to have a conversation with them.
Absolutely.
And then you need to close them and pull them across.
Hey, brother, if I could add, marketing is senior to sales. Marketing is senior to sales. If the best known product will always be the best quality product. Facts. The McDonald's right now, even I don't know if I can say their name, whatever, but they have the most hamburgers that are being sold in an international basis. Your favorite burger shop at the corner will never get to McDonald's spot because no one knows who they are unless you Yelp them. So if no one knows, and that's why I love this topic, Mike, if anyone and how to sell effectively to your network, if no one knows what you do, and here's the thing too, Mike, if you're not sold into you're not sold into your company, you're not sold into your product, who are you actually selling to? Right? And then when you give that price, here's another great price is a myth in the absence of value. Price is a myth in the absence of value. If you're not giving value to why should I buy from you, Mike? Why should I buy from your company? Why should I buy your product? And you're not answering those questions, you're not going to get the sale. Let's be honest. If the confidence level rises up, that means the client's confidence level of buying your product or service are rising too. If there's any type of obscurity in there, it's going to dip down, and guess what? The chance of sales, it's going to go down. You might have a great product, but if you can't market that product out, no one will know who the product or who the service that you're providing to your client is going to happen.
But
dude, I think we should end it, bro. Let's get to work, baby.
But that's why. But I think that's why you have to set. Like I tell founders, right? Like you need to be able to sell your product or service, right? Before you hire some digital marketing agency or something, you need to be able to close at least like 100 people yourself. Because when you're able to do that, you're going to speak with such conviction, that it comes across as super confident, right? Because like not only do you know you have a price point, you've already validated because you have multiple people pay it. You've also known you've been able to demonstrate value to clients.
Preach.
You've been doing it over and over again. And so now when you are creating those marketing assets, right, you're actually using a lot of the language and the stuff you learned during that sales call that you can actually answer ahead of time when you start posting content. But if you're not in the trenches going toe to toe with someone, right, you can't like offset that as the founder, because then it's just going to scale. It's just going to scale bad, right? You're just going to have bad marketing that doesn't close.
Correct. Bro, everything you're saying, man, get in the trenches. You got to learn how to sell stuff. But honestly, that's what I do with our cohort. I'm one of the ambassadors for Virtual 7. That's one of the homework assignments we're going to do next week, the week after, is you need to be, and Mike, bro, you and I know it's all here between the ears. What's going in your mind? And guess what? If you're doing the appointment in person, through Zoom, through phone call, listen, everything that's in between here is going to dictate how you're going to do the sale. So the big three things that I would say is, 1, are you confident in yourself? 2, are you confident in the company? 3, are you confident in the product and service? Because Mike, if I was going to say, hey Mike, yeah, we have this really cool cigar experience that we could do at your wedding. I think it would be nice. Or do I be like, hey Mike, what I got for you is, I know this is your biggest day, and we're gonna give the biggest and best part of the industry right at the end of your wedding. We're gonna have the most delicious cigars so that you and your guests could have it. Saying the same thing, totally different in tonality, language, confidence. That's why when I get clients on the phone, I am so passionate about what I do. For people who say no, I'm just like, why not? Like, why wouldn't you want to do this? I don't want money to be an objective of you having the best cigar experience at your wedding. You know what I'm saying? But that's the confidence. And that's what I think is between the ears, what you read, the people you hang out with, the things you listen to, things like this where, hey, you know what, Mike? This is called the captain's meeting. This is where the captains meet. And, hey, this is where we're sharing information because we get to listen to all this stuff. But, dude, I 100% agree with you.
So I want to go back. You launched the mobile cigar lounge, right? You first start out trying to do festivals and beer things and stuff like that, but then you settle on weddings, all right? And this entire time, right, you're planning on, doing it full time, which you eventually do. You have a team, so you have payroll and things that need to go out. You got a lot of expenses. So I'm curious to know, like, how did you build your process where you knew you had repeatable sales? Because it's one of those things where we talk about it, like, oh, you need to have that predictable revenue coming in month over month. But talk to us about like the process to actually build that. And then when did you know that you actually had it? So you could start making more risk because you knew rain, sleet, hell, or snow, you were going to generate X number of dollars per month.
Love it, Mike. And like I said, I'm going to give kudos to my business coaches, the Grant Cardone team. It's all I've been learning. 1, I got invested into a business coach. 2, why are my sales predictable? Do you guys actually have a question you want to ask yourself? Do I actually have a sales process that happens from the time they inquire to the time that they're out? That should be a yes or no question. And if you don't have it written down, that's a no. If you just have it in your head, that how are you going to be scalable, right? So when my team, like we're hiring, we got 12 inquiries for salespeople to come in. But I think leadership, Mike, is defining it as I want other people's success to be easier. So when I have a salesperson comes in, I'm giving them all the tools necessary to make money, to become an effective salesperson. So when people come in and they join our team, hey, this is what we listen to. We have homework. We do homework. We have daily calls. We do role playing. I have a sales script. We do overcoming complaints and objections. My sales team they generated over $1 million last year. From my sales team, I probably contributed maybe to 25, 30,000, but I'm in that boiler room. We call it the boiler room, where I'm listening to their calls and I'm typing in the hey, say this question. Hey, they're ready. Let's go. Let's close it. Hey, let's roll. And I think that's what makes it predictable. You are unpredictable if you don't have a system in place. If there's no system, how can you be predictable? If it's just in your head, then no one else could do it. Like Mike, if I told you, hey, if we're doing boxing, right? Because I know Mike's a boxer. I'm like, hey, Mike, just go in the ring and just throw punches. Or, Hey, we train. You show me how to block, how to do a, I don't even know these boxing terms, but how to throw a jab. Now I'm more predictable because I know when he reacts, I'm able to react a little bit more as well, right? So it's just the same. You cannot treat sales as predictable if you have no system in place. And when you have the system in place, your sales would then be predictable. Then you'll be able to learn how to scale your business, right? We
The-
did over 1 million last year. Now my goal is 3.5. But then when I sit down with my team, I'm getting everyone's goals. Hey, what's your vision? I think that's another thing that people don't do. I'm looking to grow leaders in my organization. I don't want to have a salesperson be there for more than 1, 2 years. I want them to build their skill set, build their knowledge, be their leadership and belief so they're able to lead other people. And guess what? I have a system in place so that when they start leading other people, they could use that system and make money too.
and you didn't just learn this. I mean, you didn't know this going into it, right? Like this whole building the system, all that other stuff. You learned this through your coach.
Absolutely.
And the reason I think it's important to say that is like there's a lot of woo-woo out there. Just work harder. What does that mean?
Yeah.
You need to drive more revenue. How? And I like what you're talking about because now you're showing people the how. The how is that you actually build a process. How do you build brand awareness? You let everyone in your network know what you're up to. You don't have to sell them. You just let them know, hey guys, I just want to let you know I'm offering X, Y, and Z. Keep me in mind. And then as you start to get those inquiries back from your network, where do they go? Right into your sales process.
Love it.
I love the fact that you've been able to move yourself out of the sales role because now you're the business owner. Like you're legitimately in that space where you're away and you're generating revenue, rain, sleet, hell, or snow, because you have a process and you have a team in place. And so for a lot of y'all tuning in, that should be our goal. Our goal should be to, obviously, we're going to have to generate the majority of revenue up front, the majority of sales calls. But at some point, we want to scale ourselves out of that so we can focus on vision, strategic partnerships, stuff, et cetera. And revenue is still coming in.
And Mike, if I could say, don't get it twisted. What you see here, when in 2018, 2019, 2020, I made almost every single call to our clients. I know and that's a challenge people have. They want to control the sales team, but they're not going to train. They're not going to read books. They're not going to learn how to overcome objections. You gotta, I believe in that. You gotta be in the trenches. Then, hey, listen, you move up, and now you're leading people, and you're inspiring them to be what you do. And I tell my team all the time, hey, I'm looking for leaders to help inspire. But that's one of our core values, inspiration. That should be one of your core values. I want to inspire people. I don't want you in that sales role for a year or two. I want you to inspire more people to change their lives, to make more income. Because guess what? That affects three things. It affects their professional, their personal, and financial goals.
Love it.
And that's what I sit with my team. Once people with teams, your sales team, have you sat down and actually done a personal, professional, financial goal? Do you know what their goals are? Because if you cannot align their goals with your company goals, guess what? You're gonna get conflict. I sat down with all of my guys and gals for 30 minutes. I found out what they want to do in their life personally, professionally, and financially. So me as an owner, it is my duty, obligation and responsibility to make sure I deliver in making sure that they have those things.
Love it.
That's building a team, brother. And guess what? When they're into it, I'm into it, and we're all fired up. We're all fired up.
So we're going to go fast and furious here because I want to make some time for some questions. So rapid fire, if you got questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat while you got Joey and I here. Joey, Linda Stevens wants to know, where do you find leads?
Where I find those leads, where my clients hang out in. For example, my clients who are getting married, they go to these things called wedding expos. When I go to wedding expos, they also give the leads of people who are there. But also I capture the leads. A lot of people, when you go, you gotta have a system in place where you go to these expos, whether you're giving stuff away or you're trying to gain interest. The number one thing you should be working in there is, how do I get someone's information? Because if you give them something, like say I give you a cigar and you walk away, how are you going to find me? Cards? They're not gonna call me. I wanna be proactive, not reactive. Hey, listen, to get you this free cigar, all you need to do is, hey, go on our Instagram, go fill out this information, and I'll give you a free cigar afterwards. And guess what? Now I know their wedding, I know their names, I know when their wedding date is. I'm gathering information because when I get more information about that person, my chances of closing are a lot higher. So, Linda, hopefully that answers your question. where do your clients hang out with? There's conventions. There's different types of conventions. Mike, there's conventions about everything nowadays. There
Yeah.
used to be like different industries, but there's conventions about everything nowadays.
I want to add a comment to that. You can also get them through a Trojan horse. What do I mean? Here in Jersey, there's a lot of these wedding venues that people go to, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure, Joey, that when they go to these wedding venues and they're really trying to spice it up, they say, hey, would you consider a mobile cigar lounge? And they say, oh, that's great. I know a guy.
You know what? That's selling to my network. I mean, here's the thing, Mike. When I go to these expos, I also network with the other wedding professionals there. I don't call them vendors. I call them other professionals there. And I'm like, hey, listen, this is my name. I would love to connect. I hired someone to do specifically what's called quote unquote business development, so I could develop those relationships. Right? I can't be anywhere. The thing about me is I cannot, I have 24 hours. Mike, you have 24 hours. But the thing that I'm good at is how can I create more time for myself? And a thing is, when I introduce someone, whether it's my friends, my family, people I work in the industry, I'm doing a good job because when someone says, "Hey, do you know a cigar guy?" or you know who someone who does cigars, instantly they should think about me. And I think that's what's called selling and closing effectively to your network. Do people actually know what you do? Do they see that you're passionate about it? And hopefully if you guys gals turn into my social media, you can see I'm passionate. I'm all in. You want to smoke cigars? If you come on my website and you put an inquiry in, I'm going to close you because you made a decision that you want to have the cigar experience or some sort of cigar experience at your wedding. My job is to build that value and make sure I deliver it to whatever we say. So yeah.
Now, Joey, you got any book recommendations for our viewers?
Yeah. You know what, man? So I'm reading this book once again. So I have an employee maturity model, right? That's another thing that you should have. Hey, how do E1, E2, E3, E4? Do you have that for people that you hire? Is it transparent? A lot of it where I believe in four things: your KPIs, which is your key performance indicators, your belief lid, your operational effectiveness, and also your leadership lid. And guess what? They're all books tied into each of those levels. So when you come up to me, you're like, "Hey, listen, let me indicate that you read these books. If not, you have to read the books before I promote you." But the book that I'm reading now, it's kind of like a belief lid. It's called The Closer's Survival Guide: Over 100 Ways to to Make That Ink by Mr. Grant Cardone. That's my business coach. That's how I've been listening to find someone that could help. But that's the book I'm reading right now.
Love it. My recommendation is Build an Unorthodox Guide to Making Things Worth Making by Mr. Tony Fadell. Tony was one behind the iPhone and the Nest thermostat. You know what I'm talking about? The little learning thermostat. So he worked with Steve Jobs, did some amazing work at Apple, and really just shares the lessons he learned building great products. And so for me, this is great for a couple of reasons. One, in Newark here, we have a hard tech accelerator called Hacks. I've been very curious about hard tech since they moved in. I started going down that rabbit hole. So sure enough, this book comes out. And this is great for me because we get to, there's so many different business models, Joey, here in the bunker. You've got Mobile Cigar. I got Ironbound Media. We've got people that are doing SaaS platforms. We've got people that are doing hard tech. And so part of educating myself and learning these things is to be able to bring more context to conversations and also make sure that we're providing value to these various different entrepreneurial communities in the best way that we can.
I love it, man. I love it. And something I want to say too, Mike, is we've grown each other in each other's businesses, man. And every time we meet, bro, it's like I see you, and you're always like levels up from where I last see you, bro. And I just want to say, dude, I love your grind. I love your passion. By the way, Mike is the one who sat down with me. He's like, "Hey, man, where do you go quit your job?" And I took that, made my goal, made it happen last year, April 1st of 2022. But that man is the reason why I quit my job, why I'm reading books, why I want to inspire people. Because what Mike does is he inspires people. He inspires his boxers, those kids, other entrepreneurs. And bro, I just want to take this time and space to say, bro, you've been a very big part of my life and part of people's life. And I don't know why I'm freaking tearing up, but I want to say, Mike, I appreciate you, man. Every time we have these calls, dude, it makes me reflect back on where we came from, where we are now.
I appreciate you, my brother, man. We've been through it, y'all. We've been through a pandemic. We've been through quitting our jobs, so it's always a pleasure. And this is your community too. So, this kind of relationship we have, we hope that you all are able to have that as well, because entrepreneurship is hard enough as it is, but you don't have to go at it alone. So I appreciate y'all are tuning in. Before we go, I do have to plug the Transition Podcast. Last week, I dropped an episode on how to drive revenue now, like today. And I think it complements nicely with what Joe and I were talking about. So I would love for you to subscribe to that show and also leave us a review. Again, I'm putting out some great content. We've got February coming up, which is Black History Month. Have some amazing guests we've already profiled in the past that we're going to be sharing with you all. So we got a lot of great content coming your way. And that's courtesy of our sponsors, the MetLife Foundation, for making it possible. Until next time, everyone, peace, love, and have a great rest of your week. Make sure you check out my man Joey D and the Mobile Cigar Lounge.